So if you're a guy who just clicked on this video by mistake, maybe you want to keep going, maybe you want to click off, I don't know. Maybe you clicked on this video because you want to better educate yourself when it comes to your girlfriend and her monthly cycle and how it works with her training. That would be cool, not gonna lie. But today we're gonna be talking about periods and the monthly cycle and how it works around training and all that jazz. So let's get into the video. Before we start this video, I want to make a disclaimer, of course. I am not a medical professional. I'm not here to give medical advice or anything like that. So if you need medical advice, go seek a medical professional, of course. But I'm going to be talking about my experience, my kind of training, how it works around my kind of monthly cycle, and just give you guys the basic kind of rundown of how training works with your monthly cycle, because I've noticed a lot of female athletes just don't talk about this, and I feel like we need to open up the conversation because this is a normal thing that a lot of women go through, and we're all different and we all do different types of training, and I think it's important to talk about this. So let's just jump into it and start talking about periods and stuff. Okay, so we're talking about the monthly cycle, of course, and I'm going to break it up into two parts. So we're going to talk about phase number one, which is like the start of your month, not like the start of the month, not like the start of your month, like right after your period, that's your start of your month. And definitely when it comes to this, I really encourage every single one of you females to start listening to your body, because like I said, we are all so different, and our bodies just have kind of different days, different cycles. Like it's not anything that's super specific. Like I'm not going to come on here and say the first 15 days of your cycle you're going to be doing this, and then the next 2 days you're going to be doing, no, that's not how it works. We're all so different, and even for me it does vary month to month. Sometimes I can get a couple weeks, sometimes it just turns into 2.5 weeks. It really just depends. So really, this is a time that I really encourage you guys to start listening to your bodies and seeing how your bodies kind of react, because like I said, we're all different and we all kind of have different phases that our body goes through. So we're going to be talking about the first phase, which is the first part of your monthly cycle, and this is the kind of fun phase when it comes to training. This is the phase where I definitely get a lot of endurance training in and a lot of weightlifting training. If you guys don't know me, I do CrossFit, and this is the best time that I get my good intense Metcons in, I get my endurance training in. Like this is the time for me to shine kind of thing. This is like my best time for when it comes to training, when I want to progress and get stronger. When it comes to my CrossFit workouts, this is my best time. And this, like I said, can last for 2 weeks, it can last for 2.5 weeks. It really just depends, but this is like my time to shine kind of thing. And then we move into the second part of kind of our monthly cycle, and this is like the not so fun kind of phase. So this part of my monthly cycle is when I really ramp down my training, and you'll want to ramp down your training because it's when we're ovulating and when we start our period. And like I said, there is no exact date, there is no exact time to time. It really just varies from person to person, and over the months of learning about my body and researching about it in general, I've learned that, you know, it does vary from month to month. And for me personally, like I really ramp down my training. This is the time when I start doing a lot of accessory work. I start doing a lot of skill work. This is the time where I'm not trying to set any PRs, not trying to do any heavy lifts, not trying to do intense Metcons. No, this is a time where we take a step back and we start just working on training like little things, our skills, our accessory work, which is gonna make us better when it comes to moving into our first part of our phase, moving out of the second into the first. It'll make us better for that. So you want to make sure that you're training super effective during this time. Still, it's a hard time for our bodies. It is definitely not an easy time. Periods are not easy. I mean, everyone has different periods. Some people have hard ones, some people have easier ones. It really just depends, but no matter what, a period just isn't easy on the body, and it's a sucky time. I gotta say, it just sucks. And so it really does vary from person to person, but this is the time where we still want to keep training. We still want to get our bodies moving and make our bodies feel good, because our bodies do feel good when we train, I find personally. And so we still want to get that accessory work in. We want to do like Metcons. We still want to keep that training going and keep our bodies going, so that when it comes to moving in back into the first part of the phase, we're still really good, and that we can, you know, go harder and get better each and every single time. For me personally, when it comes to like my period time, the first like 3 to 5 days, it really does vary from month to month, is when I really start getting really bad period symptoms. I get them way before my period starts. I get really dizzy, I get tired, I don't feel good, don't feel like moving at all. So I do a lot of light work during this time, and I keep it really easy on my body. So like there's the first phase where you're going intense, and then you start ovulating and you start slowing things down, and then this is the time where I like really slow things down the first 3 to 5 days before my period starts, just because I have really heavy symptoms and I just don't feel good. So I really keep my training to a minimum. I take rest days if I need to. I really go with how my body feels, and that's something very important that we really focus on, is going with how our body feels. And then when it comes to period day, the first day of my period, even sometimes the day before my period, I'll take that day off, and definitely the day that my period starts, because that is the worst day for me, is the first day. My first day of my period, I am like out. Even sometimes my second day, it's just like, you know, it's the hard day. And I used to get really hard on myself, and I used to be really upset. I was like, why can't I feel good? Like, why don't I feel good when I do this and this and this? I got frustrated with myself, but really your body's going through a lot at this time, and it's not easy. So take it easy on yourself, because I never did, and I was always upset with myself when I wasn't feeling good. And if I had to take 2 to 3 days off of the gym, I was upset, and I really got frustrated at myself when I shouldn't have been, because my body's going through a lot of stuff, and we need to realize that this isn't always easy to go through. So don't get hard on yourself. Really take the time to rest. Your body does need it. And even when my period starts, I do take it easy for a couple days. I have a pretty short period, I guess you can say. It lasts 3 to 4 days. And so I take it easy during those days, and I wait really to get back going to when my monthly cycle restarts. So when the period ends, that's when my monthly cycle starts to kind of kick back into gear, and we restart kind of thing. But during the period, even a couple days before the period, this is the time where I rest, and I really take it easy. And even moving from the first phase into the second phase, I really just ramp down my training quite a bit. Like the beginning of the month, I'm up here, I'm going hard for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden the ovulation starts and the period starts and things like that. I start going down, and then the period really does start, and then it's like down, and I stay down, and then I go back up. So it just, that's how it really works for me and how it works for my body. Like I said, we're all so different, and I really just encourage you guys to start listening to your bodies and just seeing how your bodies kind of go from month to month. I've noticed over the past couple months that my body definitely just changed from month to month, and I really gotta listen to my body, because if I don't listen to my body, then I'm trying to do a hard workout and I just can't accomplish that hard workout, and I just feel like crap. So really listen to your body, because it will make you feel so much better to realize that, okay, my body's going through something right now. I need to ramp it down a little bit, relax, work on some accessory work on those things. It's not like you need to completely stop training. That is not what I'm saying, of course. Just ramping things down, working around your monthly cycle. And that is what I want to really emphasize, is that our monthly cycle changes all the time, and a lot of training programs aren't based on a woman's monthly cycle. A lot of training programs are actually based on males, which they don't have a monthly cycle. They don't have that issue. They don't have to go through that. It doesn't matter when they train. They don't go through that. And a lot of training programs just don't work around a female's monthly cycle, which I think should be like a new thing. I think there should be programs for women, especially when it comes to CrossFit and working around their monthly cycle, because it just is so different. And I mean, CrossFit is so intense, and it includes so many things. So maybe somebody should come out with a program that works around a woman's monthly cycle, because a lot of training programs are based off men and their, well, they don't really have a cycle, so men and their training kind of thing like that. So a lot of training programs don't necessarily work for women. So if you're following a training program right now and you're like getting frustrated because you have to do a max lift when you're in the second phase of your monthly cycle, it's not going to work, and you're going to be frustrated at yourself, and you're going to wonder why. Well, the reason why is because your body's going through a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's very important to listen to your body. And if you have a training program, try adjusting the training program around your monthly cycle. So maybe you might have a max lift during your second phase, or when you're ovulating, or even when you're on your period, whatever, during that second phase, maybe put it off until the beginning of your monthly cycle to kind of hit that strength a lot better than trying to hit it during your second phase, because it's just not going to work, is what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, I hope this makes sense. But really, in the end, guys, I really just want you guys to start listening to your body and really focusing when your body starts doing those little changes, when your body starts going through those changes, kind of taking note of that, kind of seeing how it changes. I mean, don't be afraid to track your period. I think we should all be tracking our period, so it's not like a surprise every month or anything like that. Start tracking your period, start tracking when you start kind of phasing into that second phase. I mean, you're not going to go from like the first phase all of a sudden to the second phase. Go with how your body feels, because it changes, like I said, all the time for me. Sometimes I'm really good for a couple weeks, sometimes I'm good for a shorter period of time, a longer period of time. It really just depends. So start listening to your body, start marking it down, and just seeing how your body kind of reacts to the different training and ramping it down and working on those little things when it's in the second phase and things like that. I hope I'm making this as basic as possible. I want to kind of keep it pretty basic. I didn't want to make it too intense or too hard to understand. If you want to better educate yourself, there's tons of resources out there, and I really recommend that you guys better educate yourselves. But in the end, I want to kind of just open up the conversation. It's really not talked about, and I think it should be talked about, especially by a lot more female athletes. I think we're all so different, and I'm sure female athletes all have different cycles as well, and I really wish that more female athletes would talk about this. So maybe if you feel comfortable, leave a comment down below and kind of talk about how you train around your monthly cycle, if it varies for you, if you guys have any tips that work for you. Don't be afraid to share them down below. I'm just trying to open up the conversation. I want us to be talking about this because this is something that is so normal that our bodies go through. And as a female athlete, I think that we should really start focusing on the female monthly cycle and a female training cycle and kind of putting those two things together. Because honestly, that is how we're going to be more effective when it comes to our training. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit different. I don't really talk about this stuff very much, but I really did want to open up the conversation. So if you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And don't forget to be unstoppable. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drinking out.